Hello everybody, my name is Matt Kenny. Welcome to Kenny Movie Reviews again. Today is, let me see the date because I forgot it, June 23rd, and this week Transformers Last Night came out. And, obviously it stars Mark Wahlberg, who is one of the biggest movie stars of all time. So I figured today would be a cool day to discuss his best and worst movies that he's done in his career. Although he probably hasn't done a lot of bad movies, he's done a lot of good movies. And I say this all the time to my friends and I talk about Wahlberg. If he's in a bad movie, his performance is still good in the movie. He just makes bad decisions sometimes when it comes to movies. So, here's what I did. I went on Rotten Tomatoes to get a full list of his movies. Obviously, I've seen pretty much all of them, except for one or two that were on the list. I'll tell you guys which ones I didn't see. Hold on. Where is it? I didn't see a movie he did called Traveler, which was, I think he was a supporting role in it, so it doesn't matter anyway. I know a lot of people have seen, We Own the Night and I Heart Huckabees. I haven't seen them just because I don't have the time right now. And, they're not on TV a lot either, so it's harder for me to see them. And what else haven't I seen of his? Actually, and The Lovely Bones. I have not seen The Lovely Bones. It's been on TV, but I haven't heard that many good things about it, so I've kind of steered clear of it. But what I did was I made a list, a top 5 best and worst. So what I'm going to do is for his best and his worst, I'm going to give you my 5 choices. I'm not going to just do one, because I think that's a little too complicated to try to come up with one. So I'm going to give you my 5 choices that I would choose for his best, and then 5 choices for his worst. So we're going to start it off positively, of course. So let's do it with, let's do the first one. We'll do his best movies, which is going to be pretty cool, actually. I'm excited for this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go from 5 to 1, and then we'll do it like that. So for me, his number 5, his best would be, it's a tie between Shooter and Boogie Nights, which was his first big movie that he did. Boogie Nights is a fantastic movie. Pretty much about the adult film industry, and Mark Wahlberg plays this guy, Dirk Diggler, who pretty much gets put in the adult film industry, and you kind of get to see the positives and negatives about that industry. And I think it's a great performance by him, and I think he was nominated for that too, so it was obviously a good performance from him. And obviously Shooter, if you've seen the TV show, which I'm actually going to do a season 1 review of that, because I just got the DVD of it. I watched it when it was on, but I haven't, rewatched the season, so I'm going to watch it. I'm going to do it within, the next 2 weeks, probably put a video up there. But anyway, so Shooter is obviously about this guy who is pretty much framed for the assassination of the President of the United States, and he has to pretty much prove that he was innocent. So that's my number 5. Number 4 is going to be pretty much a combo of comedies that he's done. And his comedies that I include in his list are The Other Guys, Daddy's Home, and The First Ted, not the second one, for various reasons. The Other Guys is obviously the Will Ferrell movie that he did when him and Will Ferrell were cops, and he's funny as hell in this movie. He's very funny. Daddy's Home is the one that just came out last year. 2 years ago. Sorry, 2 years ago. And it's about Will Ferrell and him, and they're both dads, and they're competing against each other to see who's the best. And also, the sequel is coming out in November, and I saw the trailer for that when I saw Transformers 5. It looks pretty funny. So we'll see if that's good. And Ted 1, I don't think I have to say anything else about it, because it's Ted, and it's hilarious, and he's very funny. And a lot of people didn't know that he was that funny, and then we saw in The Other Guys and Ted that he could be very funny in movies as well. Number 3 is going to be a movie that struggled a bit at the box office called The Gambler, and it was a remake of a movie from the 70s, I think, with James Caan, and it pretty much was him as, a gambler who pretty much lost all of his money, and he owed money back to a lot of loan sharks, and he struggled to do that because he was such a jerk, and he was very rude, and he struggled to interact with anyone because he didn't have money and he felt so down about himself. So it's a little bit of a depressing movie, but his Wahlberg should have been nominated for this movie because he's an English professor too. And besides gambling, he is a literature professor. And those scenes in the classroom were unbelievable. He really should have gotten nominated for that movie. So if you guys haven't checked that out, it's actually on Epix or HBO. So if you have that, please check that out. Great performance from Mark. And then number 2 is going to be a movie that Vinny Garantino, I'm going to give you a shout out. You know this movie scares the crap out of me. Fear. When he's a over-obsessive teenager who falls in love with Reese Witherspoon, and their parents, Reese's parents, don't really allow it, so he pretty much goes batshit nuts because they don't want them to be together. So it gets crazy, but he's scary as anything in this movie. He really gives me goosebumps every time I watch that movie. It's so scary. But so anyway, the number 1 choice for his best movies are going to be collaborations that he did with Peter Berg, which include Patriots Day, Deepwater Horizon, and Lone Survivor. Those 3 movies, I really don't think anything has been said about those movies that I'm going to say it's going to change. Those movies are absolutely incredible, based on the true stories of these guys who, they all did, things for their country and, stuff like that. And, Mark's character in Patriots Day helps, he's a cop who helps with the investigation as to who the bombers were with the Boston Marathon bombing. On Deepwater Horizon, he saves people on the oil tank that exploded in the Gulf. And then in Lone Survivor, him and his army guys are pretty much, taken hostage and, being chased at. And that's a great action movie, actually. And I'm also going to include Invincible, where he plays, I forgot the sports team for it, but I think it was the Eagles. Yeah, it's the Eagles. Nick Sikowski would know that, so let me know if that, or Vinny if you know that too, where he plays Vince Papale. I'm not sure what team he was for, but that's a great performance from him too. It was a Disney movie actually, but it was a really good one too. I actually really enjoyed that movie. So those are his best, and now I'm going to get into his worst. Starting off number 5 is going to be Ted 2. Which you guys probably didn't think was going to be on this list, but Ted 2 to me was one of the more disappointing comedy sequels of all time. And to me, it just wasn't as good as the first one. I mean, it starts off, the first half of it, the first 30, 40 minutes are very funny. And then it kind of stops being funny and takes itself a little bit too seriously. And, Mark does what he can. He's pretty funny, but, he can't really save the whole movie. So, unfortunately, that's going to be number 5. Number 4 is going to be The Happening, which is one of the best comedies to come out in the past 10 years. But bad thing is it's supposed to be a horror movie, not a comedy. So, but so The Happening is a horror movie, and it really doesn't make much sense. It's M. Night Shyamalan, and it's Mark as a science professor, and all this crazy stuff is happening in the outside world of trees and stuff like that, and it doesn't make any sense at all. And it's funny. I'll say that. If you watch it as a comedy, you'll probably get a kick out of it. They're just trying to figure out, wow, all these people are, committing suicides and stuff, and it's supposed to be because of the trees and stuff like that, and it makes no sense. But anyway. Number 3 is going to be Max Payne, which is a video game adaptation. And Mark plays the role well, but, it's based off a video game, and it's not very faithful to the video game. Well, I'm not a video game person, so I don't know if it's that accurate, but I've heard it's not, so I'm going to agree with people who said it wasn't. But, the story was alright. He played a guy who was trying to figure out who killed his wife and stuff like that. And it just gets caught up in these people from, the underworld, and, these, dragon figures are, after them and after him, and it's weird. But anyway. Wow, that one just I really don't like that movie. So number 2 is going to be Broken City with him and Russell Crowe. And I do kind of like the movie, but it's kind of a average movie. It's not great, so that's why it's on here. Pretty much Mark Wahlberg has to go after Russell Crowe's wife to see if she's cheating on him, and then there's all this other, and then a murder happens, and then is it Russell Crowe who killed the guy who was with his wife? And it's fine, but it takes a little bit to get going, which I don't like. I wish it had a better pace. The pacing was a little off, in my opinion. And his worst movie for me is going to be the Planet of the Apes remake. I really don't know why he chose to do this movie. I mean, I understand it made money and stuff like that, but it's not a great movie. The newer ones that have come out, like Rise of the Planet of the Apes and the new one, War of the Planet of the Apes, those are the ones to watch. And the originals, but not the remake that he did with Tim Burton. It's very bad. It's poorly acted. The direction is weird. It's a little bit too dark, and some of the apes are they just look weird. It didn't work for me at all. So yeah, so it's worse as Planet of the Apes, and so those are my best and worst for Mark Wahlberg. Actually, he's probably my favorite actor. He's a very likable guy, and I watch his reality show Wahlburgers, and I've been in the restaurant in Vegas. It's actually very good, and there's one in New York, so you guys should check it out if you guys are in New York. I'm not sure where. I know where it is, but I don't have the exact directions with me right now. But if you guys want to know where that is, put it in the comments. I'll let you guys know where it is. And yeah, so this upcoming week, I'm not really sure what I'm going to be doing for videos, but I'll let you guys know on my page what's going to be happening. I just got to see what movies are coming out, and then we'll see if I could do a best and worst, or if I could do another movie review. And if there's nothing really that piques my interest, I'm going to do a Shooter Season 1 review, to recap the series before Season 2 comes on, and I think the second or third week of July it comes on. So I'm going to probably shoot to do that next week. So thank you guys for watching my best and worst, and you guys can put in the comments if you agree with me on my five choices for best and worst. If you think Fear should be in the best, or if it should be in the worst, let me know. So yeah, let me know in the comments if you guys agree with me or not, and stay tuned for more videos, because this is obviously it's not the first one. There's going to be more to come. So thank you guys for watching. Catch you later.